Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you how to solo Black Temple, very similar to the ICC and BWL guide. I'm going to go in here on my Blood DK, solo every boss, and show you just exactly what you need to watch out for, what you're doing, and just sort of the normal builds that I go with. So as always, my basic talent build is Rolling Blood, Purgatory, Death's Advance, Death Pact, and Runic Corruption. Sometimes I will switch Death Pact up as well as Death's Advance, just depending on the fight and what is required of us. Then I am obviously using some Strength Food, Strength Flask, and I am using some Golem Blood Strength Potions. Pretty much as much strength and buffs that you can get. Now, a little trick, so you don't, because you do have to be in a raid group in order to get in here. You go to pre-made groups, you go to custom, you start a group, you just smash your keyboard, you click privates, and then you click list group, and now you can then right click yourself and convert to a raid group, so you can always be in a raid group to do the solo. You don't need help from anybody else, and it is really, really nice. So without further ado, I'm gonna head to the first boss, and I will show you how to beat it when we get there. Alrighty guys, so for the High Warlord here, what you want to make sure you do is use any anti-heal as well as any form of anti-heal as well as much burst as possible, because you want to make sure that when he shields and puts his bubble up, you do not lose out on damage. So you aren't going to be able to do enough DPS probably to kill him. So you want to make sure, like here on my DK, I'm stacking necrotic strikes for this bubble here. So he's regenerating health, but as you can see, as a Death Knight, we can just keep necrotic striking him, and he is going to absorb it. Healing reduction abilities work on this as well. You just got to pay attention, and you're never going to be able to do it fully, but you'll be able to do the majority of it. So you want to make sure that you are managing your runes, and you can still hit him, you can still summon things, and as you can see, he only got about 6% health because we utilized our death runes really, really well. As far as damage that he does, he's not really going to do that much damage to you, so it's kind of just DPS him, blast him, and make sure that you can kill him in the time. You have like 45 seconds to a minute before he does his little shield there, but just pay attention. Obviously, as a DK, you can necrotic strike them. Most classes also get some type of thing. And what's super important to note is, like as a DK right here, I can still use spells to generate things. So I'm still going to use Death Strikes when I have an Unholy and a Frost rune, and I can still use my Blood runes right here to like top myself off and other things like that. So just something super important to pay attention to and make sure you're aware of. So like I'm primarily Death Striking him to heal myself and accumulate more death runes to beat him. So that's the entire fight. You'll kill him eventually as long as you do enough DPS. If he's healing to 100%, you need to switch to a DPS spec or try something else. So anyway, I will see you guys at the next boss. Alrighty, so for your Supremus, I like to grab him and pull him all the way back into this corner right here by the gate where we are headed to next. I like this location because there's a point where he starts fixating you and knocking you back. If you find yourself dying when he fixates you, you need to run away. But I can do this in my Windwalker DPS spec as well. So on my DK, I won't take any damage because it's just how DK is. But on my Monk, I can beat him straight up in DPS spec as well. So you can very easily just solo him, tank him in this corner, and fight him. When he knocks you back from his fixate, that is when you need to kite him, so you might need to clear the courtyard down there if you're struggling with it. But other than that, it is really, really simple, especially if you have any type of mitigation or self-healing. He's kind of a tank and spank. So I will see you at the next boss. Alrighty guys, a little side note is before you kill Akama, these Ash Tongue Mystics right here are hostile, and they drop what's known as a Cyclone Totem. You either need to kill that Cyclone Totem ASAP, or just kill the Mystics ASAP. They only have 150k health, so on most classes you can burst them if you focus that. But you have to be very careful of them, and I would highly recommend you focus them while you are clearing the trash to Akuma. But after you kill Akama, they become friendly to you and no longer a threat. So just something to keep in mind there. And I will see you at Akama. Alrighty, guys, for the Shade of Akama, very, very easy tank and spank. You come up here, you kill the Channelist. I actually forgot it was a boss, so yeah, you just kind of kill the Channelist and you come up here and kill him. Very easy, add management, kill them all, and then you get to come out there. Sorry about showing you that, but it is super, super easy. You just kill the 6 Channelists in a circle there, and then you kill the Shade. You can even kill him sometimes before he reaches Akama, and it is quite nutty. But anyway, onward to the next one, and I will see you then. Alrighty, guys, for Gorefiend, he is super basic, super easy. You just gotta kill him before you get overwhelmed, but with any self-healing or incredible DPS, you'll be able to kill him. He summons these little spheres that shoot you, and you just got to heal through them and kill him before too many spheres spawn and defeat you. So as long as you're doing that, you should have no problems at all with it. Similar to my other bosses, I do this on Windwalker too with my monk, so there isn't really a hard tank requirement that you need. So anyway, we'll see you guys when he is dead. Alrighty, guys, so for Reliquary of the Lost, it has 3 phases. It takes forever. I usually skip this boss because it's just not worth the time it takes. The first phase is a pure DPS phase. You either kill the boss before it kills you. You get absolutely, like, he destroys your healing and your tanking. As a blood decay, your absorb still works. So even though you can't have healing received, you have that and you are fine. So phase 1 is pretty easy, but here is the exact debuff if you want to see what it is called. Aura of Suffering, healing effects reduced, regeneration effects reduced, armor reduced, and defense reduced by 500. So he can do quite a lot of damage to you, but as you can see on a blood decay, he's not really doing that much to me. So anyway, I will show you the second phase when we get there. Alrighty, here is the second phase, Essence of Desire. Now this is the scariest phase because a portion of your damage that you do to them is reflected upon you. You also want to make sure that you kick the Spirit Shock spell right there that we just kicked. And just honestly pay attention. You need to kill the shield to hit the Spirit Shock. So we're waiting here. Bam, kick that. And you, like I said, you just got to be careful. DK is one of the better ones to do this on. Deaden is also a good one to kick because Deaden makes you take 100% more damage, which can be very lethal. So this is what happens when you miss a Spirit Shock. I didn't have a kick up. But as a blood decay, you're just going to death strike it, and you will eventually kill it. So those are the 3 mechanics. That shield is up, makes it immune to kick, but you'll be able to DPS the thing. So whatever class you are, you got to do a lot of self-healing in order to kill it, and just be very, very vigilant that you do not kill your character from the reflect. So anyway, I will see you when we are done with this. Alright, then the final phase is a mini DPS check as well. You get a shadow damage over time and increases your damage dealt and effects increase over time. So this is also a DPS race like phase 1, but being at 85 or even 90, you will have no issues with this. The second phase is by far the hardest and the most scariest that you want to be aware of and prepping for, so you don't kill your character, as well as you're able to make it to this phase and kill him before he kills you. It's a really fun phase back in the day as well. So anyway, I will see you guys at Bloodboil. Alrighty, currently at 85, Mr. Bloodboil here is the hardest, one of the hardest bosses in here, probably second or third hardest one in here. Council is definitely the hardest. So you're going to want to use absolutely everything you have to kill him as fast as possible, and make sure that you build up a lot of self-healing. I like to use my Death Pact anytime he pops Purgatory, just so I am safe from that. But he just has his stacking Bloodboil debuff, and it gets to the point where it just straight up kills you. Luckily, Army of the Dead is a nice reprieve from that, and stops him from stacking his other spells as well. But essentially, it becomes a DPS race later on, and a bit hectic when he does things like Bewildering Strike and kills your pets. But DK gets a lot of pets. I have tried it on my monk. I've been unable to solo it on my monk in either spec at this point, but it is doable. I do know of a few people who have told me so that they've done it. I'm just probably not good enough on the monk yet. And most DPS classes just can't sustain the stacking Bloodboil debuff. That's really what it is, and the extent it gets to is pretty intense. And you guys are going to see as we get further here, my health is going to go further down. So the Fell Acid Breath, the Bewildering Strike, all of it just leads to a lot of close encounters, and it gets real bad. So I maybe messed up here, and I summoned my ad a little early. So we're going to start taking intense damage, and I might not be able to death pack the Purgatory, which could be a small misplay by me. But the further this fight goes, the longer it takes, the more intense it gets, and you can definitely die because the Bloodboil stacks get way too high. But we're looking pretty good here. We have the Bloodboil effect, and we are blasting right now. So this is the stacking acidic wound that also makes it really tough on you, because you'll also lose a lot of your stats. So it is just kind of RNG what he decides to put on you and how powerful it can become. I got lucky that he bewildered me, and he did his acidic wound on my army and my minion there instead of on me. And now we can see we are, we have the Fell Rage, and this makes you crank. So if you can make it to the Fell Rage, you do get to kill him. But anyway, that is Bloodboil entire fight, and I will see you at Mother. Whoop. Alrighty, so Mother is probably the second to third hardest. It kind of just depends on how hard she hits you, but she will crank you at times. So you just got to be paying attention and see what abilities she hits you with. On my monk, it's really scary. On my DK, it is not that terrifying because of Death Strike and how much healing we have. But she is pretty soloable, and I will show you the full fight just so you can see the big hits and mitigations. It really depends on what type of strike she does and the aura she goes into. She also enrages at 10% and really starts to hurt you there. So you definitely want to pay attention to that, as well as the 10-second silences. That also makes it really hard. And you want to make sure that you are using your cooldowns appropriately when you can, because if you're silenced, you can't, like, for example, use Runic Tap, you can't use Healing Spheres, you can't use a lot of healing spells. The only option I have is to Death Strike when we get silenced. So it is very important that you pay attention to when you have the aura, what auras you have, and when you're going to get silenced and whatnot. So anyway, like I said, it's a pretty big tank and spank at times with a lot of DPS. So on a Blood DK, very manageable. I like to always keep the Ghoul ready for the Purgatory proc. When she goes enraged, this is at 10%, it gets really hectic and crazy. So you just got to pay attention to that. Like I said, at times, she, like on my monk, this is a complete roller coaster. My health is like water going up and down and all around. Here, fighting her, it's not too bad on the DK because we can Death Strike through the silencing effect. But on other classes, it is quite punishing. But most classes have a tank spec that can easily mitigate all the damage and defeat her if you're at that. And once again, once we're 90 in a week, this will not be hard at all. You will be able to just easily defeat all of these Black Temple bosses, and you'll be able to pretty much steamroll every single one of them and get your fat loot without much risk of death. We get a ton more HP, DPS, and health, so I wouldn't worry too much. We're approaching her enrage phase here, so right here is where you really want to watch out. I'm going to summon my pet now, just because the silence makes it hard. So right here we want to make sure our pet is up. That way, if we have to use the demonic pack when she enrages, we will be fine. So right about now, so she says that, goes into a frenzy, says stop toying with my emotions. This is where you want to save a lot of your DPS cooldowns and blast her. But like I said, DK is kind of a cheat code. and makes it really, really easy. But that is Mother for you guys, and I will see you at the council. Alrighty, guys, we have made it to the second to last boss, which is the hardest fight in here to solo, the Illidari Council. So for me, I like tank specs. I go Blood DK and I go Brewmaster Monk on this. I have not seen any DPS spec able to kill this. I think you would even struggle at 90 a little bit to do this. But what you want to watch out for, most importantly, is Lady Malade's heal and Kicking Circle of Healing. They share a health pool, so you can do quite a lot of DPS to them. You just have to make sure that you're paying attention. They also use bops, hots, and many other spells to do it, but all of them attacking you at once hits really, really hard. The best strategy if you are trying to solo this that I saw Simonize do is to kite Virus, the guy with the hammer, and just constantly move him. What you want to watch out for and not stand in is all of these blizzards. There's a ton of blizzards that are on the floor. We want to make sure we kick that Circle of Healing right there. I failed and missed that because she had Aura Mastery. And then we always want to make sure we're hitting whoever isn't shielded, so we're hitting this guy right here, right now. And then he bops them, so you got to be very careful of that as well. So you always want to be hitting the Shatterer because he doesn't get any protection ever. But you want to also make sure that you can be near them for AoE because they share, as well as kick Circle of Healing, which unfortunately we have gotten RNG twice in a row and been unable to kick it. So it's just sort of paying attention to these mechanics, moving around and doing DPS. It's not really a DPS race. As long as you're dodging the blizzards, the flame strikes, you're focusing the two that can always be hit, and making sure you kick Circle of Healing is probably the #1 thing you need to do. But it is hard because of the sheer damage output that is happening, and as you can see, I'm actually losing health. So there we were finally able to kick it, but I'm losing health on this fight, which I did not lose for most of the soloing that you have seen here. But you just gotta pay attention to that. Make sure that you don't stand it. So I'm standing in Flame Strike right now, and that is why I'm losing a lot of health. And so this is where we just simply move. We're lucky that he put that on there. We are strangulating. We didn't have the rune to do it, unfortunately, so we did not get that strangulate off. We are standing in fire yet again, and we just sort of have to move around and make sure that we do not just simply die because we are being bad at the game and missing more circles of healing. So pretty much it's just hit Circle of Healing. When she has Aura Mastery up, you can't kick her, and when she gets bopped, you cannot kick her. So if you can kick her, you're going to want to kick her, but there are points where you just simply cannot do it. So like right now, she is kickable, but it's going to be a matter of if we get the ability to kick her or not. So we don't want to stand on that Flame Strike. Luckily, she wanted to move with us, which is very nice. So bam, we're able to kick that, and we should be able to finish them off here pretty easily. But yeah, as you see, it is quite a roller coaster ride, and you can just straight get RNG'd. So if you wipe, definitely come back, give it another shot. It is killable, and once we're 90, it'll be much, much easier. So we got that last second there, and as you see, they all die at the same time. And now we are going to get all of our loot. But anyway, guys, make sure you loot each individual one to get the loot. If they die too far apart, you might not get anything. And then before you go to Illidan, make sure you talk to Akama and send him up to the top. And anyway, I'll see you guys at Illidan for the final fight. Whoop. Alrighty, guys. So for Illidan, Phase 1 is pretty freaking simple. He doesn't really do much. He hits you kind of hard with his Twin Blades of Azzinoth. But you want to just make sure you're sitting here fighting him. You want to move out of the fire that he does. I think it's like Shadow Crash or something. We'll see that. You want to kill parasites when they spawn as well. But you want to save all cooldowns for Phase 2. Phase 2 of Illidan here is the hardest phase in the raid. It is short, it is sweet. So Flame Crash right here. All you gotta do is just move and not stand in fire. So fire bad. Something we have all learned very well throughout our experiences here in WoW. And then he's gonna transition, I think, at 65 to 70%, and I will show you Phase 2 when we get there. Alrighty, so for phase 2, he flies up at 65%, then he throws his twin blades of Azzinoth, and you want to make sure you are standing smack dab right in the middle, because you do not, if these get too far away, they will enrage, and that will lead you to die. So this is why we save everything for right now, and you want to pop absolutely everything to turbo nuke one of them before it is too late. And you want to sort of make sure you're not standing in the fire to the best of your ability. It is pretty hard to do this, so you're going to want to kill one. Once you kill one, immediately move out of the middle before the fire overwhelms you, and then take it over here to where, as long as you slowly move and don't stand in fire, you will be able to kill them. Illidan does his I-beam thing, but that's kind of only a problem if you're actually raiding this. He can I-beam the middle, which at that point, it's just good luck and hope you had enough DPS. You might have to send it again. But that is that phase. I will show you phase 3 if we get it, and phase 4, so I'll see you then. Alrighty, at 40%, he becomes a massive demon, and you need to DPS him from 20%. So save all your cooldowns again. Don't pop them when they're up, and make sure that you can pop him when he is in his ginormous demon phase. His Shadow Blast hits you really hard, but as you see at 25%, he leaves his epic demon phase. So it's a very short but very powerful phase that you might encounter. My Army of the Dead was back up, so I used it there as well. And then you just get to blast him. He is stun locked until Maiev comes out. So pretty much after that, it's just a tank and spank, finish him off, and get the dub. And I will show you that when we get there. Alrighty guys, so an important thing to note is Illidan doesn't get any new mechanics throughout all of those phases. He stays exactly the same. The phasal shift mechanics of the twin blades of the giant demon form are the ones that are scary. And let's see if we get a blade. We did not, but we got a Shard of Azzinoth, which looks really cool, but unfortunately we cannot get that. But we did get a Shroud of the Highborn, which is pretty cool, but none of the really awesome loot that we want. But anyway, that concludes our Black Temple. What I would highly recommend is that you take the nether weave cloth, turn it into nether weave bolts, and make nether weave belts, and then you DE the belts right here. That is the best use of this, and you will make a ton of gold doing that stuff as well. But once you sell all the stuff and you have a total gold, it comes to about 3k gold in an hour. I can show you my NIT, but it won't show item loot right there. But 2,593 just raw gold from it, and it took us an hour and 16 minutes. We killed 535 mobs, so really good, really fast, and probably one of the best old raid farms that you can do right now. If you have any questions, anything you think I missed, anything you're struggling with, definitely drop it down below, and I will get back to you. And you can always catch me live on Twitch. I'm streaming every day and going really hard with MOP and all this fun stuff. So until next time, I'll see you later. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.
Hey you. Yes you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.